It started with a video, just a short clip, no more than 30 seconds. Meghan Markle, cradling her belly, swaying to a trending rap song, mouthing the lyrics with a mix of pride and sass. She thought it would go viral in the best way. Bold, empowering, raw. But what she got instead was a viral backlash so fierce it sent shockwaves through Netflix, Hollywood, and every studio that ever considered working with her again. Before we dive into the firestorm, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what comes next, because this story, it's only just beginning. The video dropped on a Thursday. It was supposed to tease her upcoming Netflix show. With Love, Meghan, Season 2. Instead, it lit the internet on fire. Cringe, out of touch. This isn't empowerment. One comment read, "It's embarrassing." Another wrote, "Who let her post this?" And then came the deeper questions. Was this an official promo from Netflix? Was this the tone of the entire show? Was this serious? For a few hours, the backlash was mostly limited to X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, duets, and side-eyes from online commentators. But when Netflix held a test screening just days later, everything detonated. Meghan herself showed up front, row, center mic, big smile. But the audience, they came armed with real questions. During the Q&A, someone asked calmly, not maliciously, why she thought the pregnancy video was appropriate for a platform like Netflix. They said it felt tone-deaf, especially for parents struggling. With real issues, Meghan's smile vanished. What followed next would become the most whispered about meltdown in streaming history. She snapped, not just a firm response, not just a strong defense. Meghan raised her voice, called the question hateful, labeled the audience fake fans, and accused them of not understanding her vision. People in the room froze. The tension became suffocating. And when she screamed the mic loud enough to make people flinch, Netflix staff jumped in. Producers rushed the stage. One physically took the microphone from her hands. The crowd sat in stunned silence. Then, a Netflix representative stepped forward to clarify. The pregnancy video was not officially approved or endorsed by Netflix. It was Meghan's own personal post. And just like that, the scandal erupted. People now realize the video was never part of a strategic campaign. Meghan had implied intentionally or not that the post was a coordinated Netflix promotion. But in truth, it was unsanctioned, unauthorized, a rogue move, and that revelation was the tipping point. Backstage, chaos. Phones buzzing, PR agents whispering, security lingering nearby not because anyone felt unsafe, but because the moment teetered on disaster. The footage from the Q&A hasn't been leaked yet, but insiders who were in the room describe it as emotionally volatile, and the moment everything changed, behind closed doors, the fallout was already underway. Ted Sarandos, Netflix's co-CEO, wasn't just disappointed, he was furious. A closed-door meeting was scheduled within hours of the screening. In the room, Ted Coase, CEO, Greg Peters, top legal counsel, PR execs, and Meghan herself. Meghan walked in, flustered but firm. She defended the video as authentic, artistic, and unapologetically real. She refused to back down. Refused to apologize? Said she was tired of being told how to express herself, but Netflix wasn't moved. Ted laid it out bluntly. Her behavior was making the company look reckless, unprofessional, and out of touch. And it wasn't just about one video. The entire With Love Meghan project had been trouble from the start. Critics had trashed Season 1. Viewership dropped. Off a cliff after Episode 2, internally, some employees joked they were just riding out the contract to avoid more press drama. Now, legal teams were actively reviewing that contract, searching for a way out. And here's where it got even colder. Netflix made a decision, quietly, without drama, without press. They would cancel all upcoming Q&As. No more audience interaction. No more live appearances. Meghan would still appear in trailers and promotional posters for now. But she was already being erased behind the scenes. Asterisk internally, Netflix called it containment mode. Every executive, every assistant, every staffer who touched the With Love Meghan brand was briefed. No more live interactions, no impromptu interviews, and absolutely no unsanctioned content. Meghan, once a media darling, was now considered a PR liability, and just like that, the doors started closing. But Netflix wasn't the only one pulling back. Within 48 hours of the Q&A debacle, whispers spread like wildfire through Hollywood. Other networks, Amazon, Hulu, even indie producers started pulling out of conversations. Some projects that had been in early-stage development with Meghan's team were quietly shelved. Emails stopped getting answered. Calls went unreturned. Her reps tried spinning it. They told media outlets that Meghan was focusing on her family and taking a break from appearances. But insiders knew the truth. She was being iced out. The biggest sign came quietly. Without fanfare or press release, internal Netflix emails confirmed at Season 3 of With Love, Meghan was frozen indefinitely. No development, no green light, no budget. The project wasn't canceled on paper, but everyone knew what it meant. The plug had been pulled. Behind the scenes, Meghan's team scrambled. They pitched new ideas to salvage her image, a documentary about media bias, a reboot focused on motherhood and healing, even a podcast relaunch. Every pitch was met with the same cold response. "We'll think about it." Then nothing. It wasn't just rejection. It was exile. Her own PR team was burning out. Calls with networks ended in polite silence. Brand deals evaporated. Even agencies that once courted her for collabs began advising their clients to wait and see. Meghan had become what industry insiders now called a Meghan risk factor. It wasn't personal, it was practical. Studios couldn't afford another firestorm, and yet, Meghan wasn't done fighting in a now infamous Instagram Live. She appeared in a hoodie, makeup-free, sitting near a window with soft lighting. She called herself misunderstood. She said the media twisted her intentions, that everything she did came from a place of love. But the comments were brutal, sarcastic, meme-filled. Even longtime fans began expressing disappointment. For the first time in her post-royal life, Meghan Markle was facing silence not just from the media, but from the machine that once lifted her. Netflix stopped posting about her. Streaming platforms removed her from recommended banners, and at press events, her name simply wasn't mentioned. Ted Sarandos and Greg Peters had made a call. They wouldn't renew anything. They wouldn't promote anything more than what was contractually required. They would let With Love, Meghan's Season 2 air, let it live or die on its own merit, and then walk away. But there was one final fear. What if Meghan flipped the narrative? Netflix's PR team braced for it. They drafted statements, talking points, social media responses just in case Meghan publicly accused them of betrayal. After all, it wouldn't be the first time she used the press to her advantage. But then came the final blow. Not from Meghan, from the media. A major Hollywood trade publication ran a scathing exposé. The article detailed the entire pregnancy video scandal, the Q&A meltdown, and the aftermath. Anonymous sources inside Netflix described the incident. In brutal terms, "We had to take the mic out of her hand before she dug the hole any deeper." The piece went viral instantly. Twitter threads, TikTok recaps, YouTube reaction videos, and the internet wasn't kind. "This is what happens when ego meets no filter," one commenter wrote. She thought she was untouchable, and just like that, Meghan Markle went quiet. No lives, no tweets, no brand plugs, no statements. For the first time since she stepped into the Hollywood spotlight, Meghan disappeared into silence. Silence can be strategic, but in Meghan's case, it felt like surrender. For weeks after the expose, not a word came from her camp. Netflix's team remained on high alert, ready for a PR war, but none came. No rebuttal article, no heartfelt video, no interviews, just a void. And in Hollywood, silence is louder than scandal. It speaks of damage control, of lawyers whispering, of reputations being managed quietly before it's too late. But it was already too late. The Hollywood echo chamber moved fast. Agents warned their clients. Casting directors quietly removed her from shortlists. Studio meetings brought up her name only to veto it. Internally, producers began referring to her as a red flag, a lesson in what happens when personality overshadows product. And what made it worse? People started connecting the dots. They brought up the Spotify deal that ended abruptly, the lifestyle brand that never launched, the podcast that fizzled. The awkward appearances, the cringe interviews, it all started stacking up. One by one, the puzzle pieces formed a narrative that was hard to deny. Meghan Markle, once hailed as a reinvention icon, without a premiere party, without Meghan's involvement, without press tours, it barely made a ripple. Viewership was lukewarm. Social media reactions were muted, and Netflix, they let it pass like a storm cloud drifting out to sea. Internally, they moved on. New shows were greenlit. New talent was prioritized. Greg Peters and Ted Sarandos took meetings with creators who didn't bring chaos with them. In one particularly, telling executive debrief, AVP reportedly said, "No more gambles. No more personalities. We focus on story now, period." The message was clear. Meghan's Hollywood chapter wasn't formally closed, but it was shelved indefinitely. She wasn't canceled. She wasn't blacklisted, but she was radioactive. No one wanted to take the risk. No one wanted to get burned. And maybe that's the real cautionary tale. Not that Meghan failed, but that she misread the room. She mistook visibility for credibility. mistook virality for value, and most dangerously, mistook a platform's tolerance for unconditional support. In Hollywood, nothing is unconditional. Not loyalty, it's a business. One day, you're the biggest name in every meeting. The next, you're the lesson behind closed doors. That's where Meghan Markle finds herself now. No longer the narrative controller, no longer the main character. Just another bold name on a do not call list filed quietly under too much baggage. But here's the thing Hollywood never forgets. It just waits. Waits to see if the dust settles, waits to see if you can come back. And if Meghan wants to try again, it won't be with a rap song or a live video. It'll take real reinvention, real humility. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more deep dives into the stories no one else dares to tell. We're just getting started.